Yeah.
Proof is in the pudding, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into our final social media question right now, which comes from EJ Orengi. I probably, again, mispronounced that. I'm sorry. Who asked, what advice do you have for people who are wanting to get into the speed community for Splatoon? Any beginner's advice you can provide? You touched on this a little bit. It's very hard to get into at the beginning. So
right. It is really hard to get into the beginning to, get consistent, I guess. But it's really easy just to do. You already have the game. You already have single player available. You just jump in and start doing stuff. I would highly recommend that you start doing ILs first, because if you do ILs, you can submit it to the leaderboard. You don't have to have a capture card or any expensive equipment. You just have to submit the screenshot, which you can take via the Switch itself.
The capture
You
mode.
can just instantly capture it, and it's fine.
And just for people who don't know, ILs in this situation, we're talking about individual level,
right?
Time attack.
Yeah, because as I talked about in the run, the game has in-game timer, so
excellent.
That's all you need. But as for if you want to join any speedrun community, it's always the same. You just go in, you get familiarized with the people in the community, and
ask the right questions.
You ask the right questions. That's the most important part. You have to ask the right questions. No one's gonna baby you over the small things.
Right.
If you want to ask how the big things work, you gotta put in effort so that you know what to learn. That's what you need.
Well, cool, man. Thanks for hanging out with me, Tones.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure. Now, I do want to shift focus a little bit, because it wouldn't be a GDQ interview without talking about prizes.
Prizes?
Where did you come from?
Don't worry about it. It's confusing back there.
All right, anyways, welcome, Sent. What's up, man? How you doing?
That's great to be here, J-Hobbs. Really enjoying it.
All right, well, I thought I was going to have to talk about him, but you take it away. What do we got, Sent?
Always happy to do so. All right, so we got some really cool stuff here for you, J-Hobbs. So continuing on from the Splatoon 2 run we had. Tones, I'm actually going to ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
You happen to know what this is?
Yeah, that is Ethan just talked about what that is. That is a promotional piece that is only given out to certain people in Europe.
Tones is a well-researched man, let me tell you guys.
Yeah.
So this is a Splatoon 2 vinyl, and it is incredibly rare. So far as I know, it was only given out to certain promotional outlets in Europe. I actually could not price this. I looked on Google, on Amazon, on eBay. As far as I know, no one has ever sold one of these things. It's just that rare and unique.
We got to get you on the History Channel, man. Start, selling some stuff in a pawn shop or something. That's what you sound like right now. Carry on, please.
I will. So, it's this beautiful vinyl disc. It's $25 for a chance to win it anytime between now and the end of inFAMOUS, the next run. So, hey, you guys should definitely get those donations in as soon as you can. This is, honestly, pretty much a one-of-a-kind thing. You are not going to find this anywhere else.
That looks amazing.
Oh, it's certainly pretty great.
All right, I do see something else, though.
Oh, yeah, we definitely have something else pretty cool here. So, our good friends at Bethesda Softworks have donated a little Switch for us.
Hey, cool.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. It's a $35 minimum bid to enter between inFAMOUS and the Skyrim run we'll be having a little later on. But, it would be pretty boring if it was just a Switch, right, J-Hobbs?
I think they're cool, but sure.
we can do better, let me assure you.
Okay.
I set those a little too far off camera.
Well, there, let's try that again. Prove it, okay? I want to see how you can do better.
There we go. So it's not just a Switch, it is a custom art Skyrim Switch. The Switch itself, as well as both Joy-Cons, feature custom Skyrim-themed art depicting the dragon, a Nord, and of course the scene of the two together. It's really beautiful.
Wow.
Incredibly grateful to Bethesda for donating that to us. Again, it's $35 from now until the end of the Skyrim run a little later this afternoon. They also donated a lovely Skyrim strategy guide along with some iron-on patches and dog tags, and I believe that is a $10 minimum donation during the Skyrim run later today. So definitely get your donations in for those. And as always, guys, remember, head over to gamesdonequick.com. You'll find all this information and more on the tracker on the page, and you'll be able to donate right there, too.
Well, excellent. Thanks a lot, Sent, for being here, as always.
Always happy
I'm
to be
sure
here,
we'll be
Hobbs.
seeing more from you in the for the rest of the marathon. And yeah, thanks, everybody. And we'll be kicking it over for the infamous First Light run, which I'm really excited for.
Hey guys, how you doing today? My name is Mizzlesticks. I'll be joining you here for the infamous First Light run. I'm gonna go ahead and read some donations off here.
Oh, but we caught you while you
We got $100 from Sasha Amethyst. Love watching these GDQs. I know it's early still, but as soon as I saw the donation incentive, I just had to donate towards making that Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past randomizer run swordless. Who needs a sword anyways? Keep up the good work, guys, and shout outs to all the tech people behind the screen keeping these events running. Hype! Got $15 from Oh No, It's a Bear 23. I just want to see the Invisible Hornet fight in Hollow Knight. All right, we're going to go ahead and throw it over to Emerald Alley for Infamous First Light. Take it away.
Hi. This is actually a very awkward point to have it be thrown over because I can't do any menuing until this cutscene ends. So I was practicing a little up until this point, but we have to just let this play for a minute before I can go back to the beginning of the game.
Unskippable cutscenes are the best.
Yeah. Some of the cutscenes in this game are skippable, not this one.
Well, just to let you know, I've got a donation from Zypher the Speedy, $10. Hey, Ali, good luck with your speed run. Hope you raise plenty for charity. Also, sorry for getting the murdered sole suspect world record before you. P.S. Shout out to Brandon and Lauren.
Thanks, Zypher. Yeah, I run that game with a controller. He runs it with mouse and keyboard, so he was always going to get that recce. But he found a bunch of cool strats for that run that lowered my PV like 2 minutes. Okay, we almost have control of the character, and we can do some actual menuing and get back to the beginning of the game. It was either this or sit through the cutscene at the very beginning of the game, which is way longer. Yeah, all right, here we go. Now, this is why we have a save file at the beginning of the game. That, like, we can just load up this save file to reset runs and whatnot when you're doing your PB attempts. All right, so shall I count you in? All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alrighty, this is Infamous First Light. Welcome to Seattle.
If it wasn't obvious by the Space Needle, then I don't know what else would be obvious.
Interestingly enough, Seattle is the airport I flew out of to get here. I live in a town just a bit north of Seattle. So the first thing you're going to notice is that the game is running in Italian. There's a reason for that. It's not for the lulz, the memes, or anything of that sort. There'll be a pretty good example of why we run in Italian in just a moment here. So if you don't know the Infamous series, in Infamous we play as conduits, people with the genetic ability to manipulate and weaponize matter. Our hero in this game is Fetch Walker. Her dominion is over neon gas, which also affords her super speed. Nice power to have in a speedrun. Okay, that is incredibly rare. That there would be a cop right there. Wow. Wait, the strat there is to hide in that garage until this chopper gets bored of looking for you, but there was a cop right there. I can't remember the last time that's happened. I'm pretty sure it has. I'm not going to say, oh, that's never happened before. But I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. I don't know quite what to do right here. The objective here is to shake these cops, and if you leave a neon trail behind you, they know where to look. So that's why I'm not using super speed right now. Yeah, they still see me. Wow, this is pretty incredibly bad luck. I think I'm going to go back to the garage now. They might not be there. Yeah. Okay, this might work now. This is ordinarily where we'd be hiding for a lot less time than has already elapsed. This is one of these 999 out of 1,000 things, and wouldn't you know it? Yeah, I think we're okay now. All right, there we go. That's the phone call we need to hear. I cannot believe there was a cop right there. So that's our brother, Brent. We are fugitives on the run from the DUP, the government force who rounds up conduits. And we're trying to do one last score here in Seattle before heading off to live happily ever after. Spoiler alert, that doesn't happen. We're being sent to retrieve a red duffel bag from this penthouse apartment. There's an example of why Italian is faster. In the English voice acting, when you get to the door, that phone call between Fetch and Brent lasts another 2-3 seconds. And you can't enter the penthouse until the phone call ends. The game actually tells you to run up and punch these guys in the face. But if you do that, 2 extra guys will spawn behind you. So it's faster to take them out from range with bolts. It takes 3 bolts to kill each guy. Yeah, so we are already at least 30 seconds off the pace of a good run. But we'll manage, we'll manage. Yeah, Fetch made her debut as a non-playable supporting character in Infamous Second Son, a somewhat better-known game, but I like this one a lot better. So that's a brief little tutorial to tell you to drain neon things to get your powers back when you run out of them. So now we're just running back to Brent to just leave town anyway, I guess. There's a cool little skip here that world record holder routed into the run because he does this in the 100% run, and he's the only one who's ever done the 100% run. I'll never run the 100% of this. You want to get back to your boat on the docks, but the fastest way to do that is to just run in the water here, which makes you respawn on dry land, but if you do it right there, you respawn on the docks, so you're super close to the boat. Yeah, we're close to a minute off the pace of a good run, but whatever. We'll make it happen. So we get here and we find that our boat has blowed up and our brother is missing. And his phone has been left behind as well. There's one little thing I want to introduce in just a moment here, and then I'll toss it to you for donations.
Quando sentivo di perdere il controllo, mi concentravo su Brent. Era l'unico modo per mantenere la calma. Aggrapparsi a un ricordo piacevole.
So we can actually skip this cutscene by quitting out to the home screen and reloading. The run right now is being done on a PS4 Pro with a solid-state drive. Even on a normal PS4 with a normal hard drive, this would be faster than watching the cutscene. I'll do various quitouts and save warps over the course of the run. They all would be faster on any PlayStation with one exception, which I will point out when we get to it. And you can see that's a cutscene skip. It doesn't seem like much of one, but it is a time save. And if you got any donations, this is a real good time.
Okay, yeah, I've got $10 here from Tsukiyomi. Sup, Ali? Your boy Yomi here, praying that the game finally decides to be kind.
So did you see what just happened?
So proud that you're running this here, and I know you'll kill it. Did you ever figure out your runner's choice? Money goes to that. Oh, I gotta go. Something really distracting just came into my field of view. You understand how it is. Bye.
There's a story behind that comment that I can tell when we get there.
And then I've also got $50 from Tito. Just got a new job, so it's the best time I can think of to share the wealth. Please put the money to runner's choice.
Come sempre in fondo. No, Miss Walker. Sei una superstite.
So there's 3 challenge arenas within Curtain K prison here. You can do them outside of the story as well, and they're sort of meant to be the game's replayability, I think. Although for me, speedrunning fits that niche pretty nicely. This is the first one. This is Alpha Arena.
Ognuno ha un punto debole. È sufficiente provarlo.
Most runs end here if you're like grinding for a PB or a really good time, because the first two arenas are extremely RNG
È un
heavy.
inizio, ma il mondo non aspetta nessuno e a volte bisogna agire rapidamente, seguire l'istinto.
Yeah, and you want to keep your focus from the first shots to the second ones so you don't dilate time on the second ones. Saves almost no time, but it's totally free.
Notevole, vero?
And I love the attention to detail the developers have here. You would never see this unless you specifically look for it.
Non sparo alla
Fetch's mouth moves when she talks,
Che crea gli ologrammi non si offenderà.
Qual è lo scopo?
but you would certainly, most of the time, just keep this camera view.
Non solo la tua, ma anche quella di chi non può difendersi. Forza, proteggilo!
So the object of Alpha Arena is to rescue 10 holographic hostages. The first 3 are always in the same place, so I can just run straight to them.
Anche altri pregi da sfoggiare. Le lancette corrono. Trova e salva l'ostaggio.
And those glowing points on the bodies of the enemies are the weak points. If I zap those, they should die in one hit. They don't always.
Altrimenti morirà di una morte atroce.
Atroce. Ah, that's not great. There's force menuing here. We can enter it before the game forces us to. This just tells us that, hey, these are the menus, and this is the upgrade screen, and isn't that nice? That's our first upgrade that we're required to buy, Photon Jump. Luckily, it's a very useful one.
Hai dimostrato una buona preparazione.
We do that to fool Augustine, that's the voice overhead, into thinking we had done the Photon Jump, which all that really does is make sure we get it at the earliest possible moment to satisfy the need for doing it. Now, I mentioned that this is extremely RNG heavy. You can manipulate it to a certain extent.
Manca ancora un ostaggio. Non vorrei condannarlo.
The enemies will never spawn directly behind you. They will always spawn in some sense in front of you, but it could be anywhere in the 180 degrees in front of you. And it could be up or down from where you are. We leave the first hostage uncollected because that makes further hostages and waves spawn in immediately. Otherwise, there would be a countdown timer. These are pretty decent spawns. And the key thing to hopefully getting a good alpha is to just never stop moving. Even if you don't know precisely where you're headed for the next hostage or wave, just don't stop moving. I was trying to get a photon jump there, it did not work. But that's still not too bad. Ooh. I wasn't supposed to collect him just yet. It should be fine. It doesn't have to be specifically the first one that you leave uncollected. Just leave somebody uncollected. These are actually really great spawns. I wish that business from the prologue hadn't happened now.
Yeah, this is the game apologizing for you to you.
Yeah. It has plenty to apologize for over the years, let me tell you. Oh. I thought they were up top. This spawn is just one. Yeah, this is not so good that the last hostage to spawn in is kind of far away from the one we left alive. Ideally, you'd like to collect one on your way to the other, but it's not really how that's going to work here. Even if more dudes spawn in here, when I collect the last hostage, they will despawn. So that was a pretty decent alpha.
La tua prova con gli ostaggi è stata, come dire, appena sufficiente. Registriamo tutti i punteggi e mostriamo i risultati degli altri.
Nothing to really do here.
E spronarti. Io sono sempre disponibile.
I guess the two handsome gentlemen on the couch behind me can introduce themselves.
Oh, yeah. But
I'm killing Pepsi.
I'm in italics.
Thanks, guys. A little more forced menuing here, and then we're taken back to
Basta
Seattle.
per ora. Siediti.
Yeah, we were like 55 seconds off a good pace. Now we're like 40 seconds off a good pace. So that was a decent alpha. Well, we're 40 seconds off an okay pace, we'll say that.
Dopo una notte passata alla ricerca di mio fratello, sono tornata a ciò che
Another unskippable cutscene if you have any donations.
l'ho incontrato. Anche lui cercava Brent.
Yeah, here we go. I got $150 from Lobos. Lobos says, hey, Allie, it's Lobos. Best of luck on the run. We're all proud of you.
Thanks.
Got Warrior of Mars with $50. Gotta donate for Infamous. Love every one of these games. Go fast and fight cancer.
Aspetta, tu conosci Brent?
Take a quick moment here to remind you guys that we do have the Hollow Knight incentive coming up. If you want to see the Invisible Hornet fight, we are about 3/4 of the way there. Just got to hit the $5,000 mark to make that happen.
Dove le hanno portato? Mi accompagni?
And Lobos is actually the first person I ever saw do a speedrun. So, you know, if I hadn't clicked on one of his YouTube videos because he sort of looked like somebody I worked with at the time, I wouldn't be here. You know, even though he doesn't really do speedruns anymore, that's a community that means a whole lot to me, and it blows me away to hear from him during the run. Thank you so much, Lobos. And hi, Wolfpack.
Grazie.
Hope some of you guys are watching.
Se ti venisse in mente altro, chiamami sul telefono di Brent.
One thing that always entertained me about this cutscene, Fetch is asking the skeezy drug dealer Shane where to look for Brent. He says to look for the enemy gang, the Occurrence, to the east. You actually run to the west to start this mission.
La città ad accogliere la vera me.
I don't know if it's just me, but Shane kind of looks like Jake Gyllenhaal. Just kind of.
So this is a load warp. You're supposed to run to a big neon sign. And by load warping, you're taking 90% of the way there. And believe it or not, even on ordinary PS4 with an ordinary hard drive, it is... I can't remember exactly how much faster on an ordinary PS4, but it is faster than just running. Doesn't seem like it is, but things really deceive you how long they take, especially the cutscenes. Cutscene skips save a ridiculous amount of time. So this is a little tutorial, I guess you would call it, to introduce the neon lumens as your upgrade points. We get 3 more or less for free. So I'm going to try to do a spawn manipulation after collecting this 3rd one. The game wants me to spawn back on top of that water tower, and I think I got it.
Roba grossa e si muove.
Yes, I did. Awesome.
Devo andare.
Spawn a lot closer with that manipulation. And what Fetch just said there, devo andare. If you remember Tsukiyomi's donation comment, when he said, oh, something really distracting just came into my field of view. You know how it is. Bye. Gotta go. That's what Fetch says in the English voice acting there. And in the Italian, she says 2 words. So that's another really good indication of where Italian is faster.
Ancora più buoni.
A little more force menuing here to introduce the map and the side objectives on the map. I don't need to mash through it, but I always do. Coming up next here is a major run killer in PvP. At least it is for me. It probably isn't for Tsukiyomi. We're going to try to do a little challenge called Triple Takedown here.
Nessuno di voi parla la mia lingua.
And I am so not going to get it. You have to kill 3 Occurrence with their weak points within 1 focus. It awards 3 lumens, and we would have gotten our... I got it? Wow. I cannot believe I got it. I'm very surprised that counted. So we buy our first upgrade, which is air dash. And air dashing is very important. And I think I made the train cycle too. You have to be really fast to get this train cycle. The train moves faster than Fetch does. So if you can ride the train, the monorail, it's faster than just running to the next objective. There's apparently a way you can boost off the train too. I've not really figured that out yet.
Perfetto, grazie. Però piantala con la storia della
That blue sign there is what we're looking for. So there's air dash. What air dash is you hit the dash button while in midair and you don't run towards the ground instantly. You dash forward in midair for a time. Later in the run, we'll unlock double air dash, which is just the only way to fly, man. So next up is stealing from the enemy. This is every speedrunner's favorite and arguably every gamer's favorite. It's not an escort mission. It's not a protection mission. It's not an auto-scroller. It's all of those things. But this one we get to make a little interesting. Picked up that one lumen above the truck where it's parked in the alley here. And in a moment, we're going to basically play the truck is lava.
E quelli sono scarsi. Portiamo queste armi ai tuoi uomini e spediamoli a cercare Brent. È l'accordo? Stammi vicino, faccio io.
You obviously don't want to use focus shots there because they slow down time. What? Oh, I got off the truck a little earlier than usual, I think. Yeah, if I had missed triple takedown where we ordinarily get it, this is my backup, trying to use these guys here. And even if I miss it there too, it wouldn't irrevocably kill the run. I'd most likely just get it semi-randomly at some point later on. Car blockade here, easily taken care of.
No, calma, ti posso sgombrare la strada.
You guys have any thoughts?
Well, the only thing that I can see here is it's an inaccurate representation of Seattle because there should be a lot more cars. And narrower streets.
There are a lot of genuine Seattle landmarks in the game. And it was made by Sucker Punch Productions, who are based in Seattle, or some... it's not Seattle per se, but it's like Bellevue or something. I think it is Bellevue, actually, now that I think of it. Which is, for all intents and purposes, Seattle. Okay, that truck, yeah, it's being mean. I'm gonna do this in focus because this is scary. If you take out one of those two trucks, the other won't follow you. And we need it to not follow us because we are not going to stay and defend Shane. We are gonna go get some lumens. These upgrade points are... That happened in the practice run, too. Upgrade points are more interesting than auto-scrollers. This is another case of world record holder Tsukuyomi introducing some of the strats he'd had for the 100% run. We used to just stand on the truck the whole time and just do the escort, and it was such a boring mission. There we go, that should be okay. Missed one lumen, but I'll end up getting more lumens than I actually need, so that's fine. Hey, Brent is the audio cue to run forward.
Me va benissimo. Arma i tuoi uomini e mandali a cercare Brent, se non vuoi un buco nella strada.
There we go. Yeah, the game wants you to stay on Shane's truck the whole way, but as you can see, we got a good distance away from it before the mission complete screen came up. Happy I did not fail that. I did this run at Harvey Relief Done Quick, the online event last fall, and I did fail the mission in that run, which sucked. All right, so we have a few little sniper situations here. They can be won with one shot.
No, lo proteggerò io e farò lo stesso con tutti gli uomini alla ricerca di Brent. Funzionerà.
You grab that little thing to the left to have like an endless supply of super-powered neon bolts, but you really only need one. There's a trick here that It looks pretty cool, but it actually only saves about 2 seconds. And it's kind of easy to mess up, too. So let's see. That should be good. You cast the Singularity right as you enter... Yeah, got it. Right as you enter the fight, it will essentially skip the fight, but just like the first one, you can win that one with one shot, so it doesn't save a whole ton of time, but it does look pretty cool. Das Vidania, that's for killing 50 occurrence. We're going to set up here, and we will just be killing enemies down below for a little over a minute, so any donations?
Let's see. Got $35 from Kerbla. Says, who can say no to more Dishonored and more chops? Also, good luck, Allie.
Thanks.
Bloody Faster with $150. Good luck on the run, Allie. May RNGesus be on your side.
Thanks, Bloody. I try not to use focus shots here because they dilate time and because they don't detonate as large as non-focus shots. But they're not faster if you miss them. That was pretty cool. Come on, dude. There we go. And we've optimized most of the downtimes, the phone calls, with Lumen Collection. And this, almost missed that one. This is certainly one of the downtimes we have pretty well optimized.
A volte non sei così male, sai?
Vuoi dire che finalmente io farò il cowboy e tu il toro da cavalcare?
I tori sono maschi.
Ah sì, dai, ci siamo capiti.
Yeah, I'm not super good at remembering exactly where mission markers are. This one's pretty easy to remember, though.
Pronto?
Ciao, Beth. Io sono Jenny. Lavoro
So we're introduced here to the hacker girl, Jenny. She's someone who is coerced into working for Shane. And we're helping her pick up a lead on the rival gang. But, of course, we're going to collect some lumens first.
Hai detto di essere?
lavoro per la città e a volte per Shane. I ID delle telecamere sono come codici QR. Puoi scansionarli con il telefono e ottieni risultati.
This mission contains a minor sequence break.
Il nostro software per il riconoscimento facciale è
So
qualcosa
did you call Jenny or did she call you?
Scansiona l'ID, esaminerò
She called us. We don't have her number.
Eccolo è lui.
useremo le telecamere per capire dove andare. Mi spiace, ma non posso avviare una scansione globale. Farei scattare
Yeah, you're supposed to follow the cameras to follow the guy who was in the first one you saw there. If you did that directly, most direct path, you would discover a crime scene where he basically murders a guy. But we're gonna discover that camera after we discover the last one, which is this one, and we can't skip this little cutscene, unfortunately. But if you discover the one, well, we actually won't even scan the camera. We just discover the crime scene after finishing the mission. It skips the dialogue at the end of the mission and makes the marker for the next one spawn in just a little bit faster.
Aspetta, credo che abbia perso qualcosa. Ciao.
We have his phone.
Jenny, se avessi il
Here's
telefono
something
di
authentic to
quell'uomo,
Seattle.
potresti tracciare i
Little
suoi
rain.
spostamenti.
Certo, ma ci vorrebbe un po'.
Sembra quasi una scena di film.
All right, coming up is the worst bit of, I want to call it RNG. It's probably not RNG, but the worst bit of nonsense in the run. It's time for terminal skip.
Quindi dovrei correre laggiù e sbaragliare quell'idiota in tutina, giusto?
I'll just say I've done this run in more than a dozen online marathons, and I have never once gotten terminal skip in a marathon. If I get it right now, I may just have a heart attack. That is how rare it is. And on top of that, we just don't understand how it works either. So sometimes you just get it and sometimes you don't.
Non vedo nessuno dei tuoi.
I volani li hanno messi alle strette. Sono bloccati vicino al terminal dei traghetti.
Quanti idioti in tutta parete?
Parecchi. Perché? Vuoi trasformarti di nuovo?
So we have this phone call here from Shane introducing the fight at the ferry terminal down below us. We will cast the singularity 9-ish seconds after he shuts up. If it works, we will hear his voice on the phone right after the singularity detonates. It's probably not gonna work, but it might work. Nope. Just this one guy. If that one guy had gotten pulled into the singularity, it would have worked. The way the game figures out that this mission is done is if all the enemies below and the snipers above have been taken out. And if you still have enemies below when you take out a sniper, another sniper will spawn in. As many as 4 can spawn in, but if you know what you're doing, it really should never be more than 1. So I take out all of the enemies below and then the sniper, and then we'll hear the call. We would have heard from Shane if the skip had worked. My PB actually doesn't even have that skip, so it's a really finicky one. Little dialogue skip here by these boxes. There probably aren't too many Italian speakers in the audience, but you might have heard Shane kind of interrupt himself and start speaking 2 different sentences at the same time. And obviously it's more apparent in the English dialogue unless you are an Italian speaker, but
No, il DUP sta arrivando.
Satch and Shane are kind of having 3 different conversations at once right now.
Tu concentrati solo su me.
So we have to clear out this fight around the iconic Seattle Space Needle, one of a handful of real-life locations in the game. That singularity will be used in just a moment, once all of the enemies spawn in. And it's very apparent when that is. Now these guys like to hide their weak points from you, but if you get behind them on the roof, they'll never shoot you. They sometimes turn and look at you, but they never shoot you. Okay, that's good. So these cars are the last enemies. When they pull up and open their doors, that's when we cast. And this should clear out the rest of the fight. And it did. Long phone call here that we can optimize with some Lumen Collection.
Io voglio solo aiutare mio fratello. E no, non mi piace. Io e Brent non facciamo cose del genere.
Oh, certo. Vuoi che il caro Brent scopra come sei fatta davvero, giusto? La morte che è in te, lato che adoro con tutto me stesso.
Se sono viva è solo grazie a te. Quando la gente vede cosa so fare, comincia a dare di matto. Non posso perdere anche me.
Bene. Tuo fratello è ancora in circolazione perché tieni a freno la rabbia. Preparati a stringere i denti.
I've messed up that Lumen Collection a lot in, even really good runs, so that was good to get it right that time.
Quando sei pronta, troviamoci davanti al Latte House di Madison. È ora di agire.
Shout out to Latte Owl.
There's also Cafe Conquistador, which has a very Starbucks-esque logo.
Ragazzi, siamo in fondo al parcheggio. Vieni, salta sopra.
So this is another combination escort mission / auto-scroller. Sadly, there's really nothing we can do to make this one more interesting. Although I will get my upgrades. What I got there was Neon Capacity, Double Cloudburst, and Rapid Fire. That's gonna hit me. Luckily, that doesn't really matter. Yeah, Rapid Fire basically turns your pistol into an SMG for your neon bolts. And if you heard Shane saying, behind us, il pick-up, there are several Italian cognates in the Italian dubbing that just kind of make me chuckle every time I hear them. Viewers at home probably know more Italian than they ever thought they did.
Se continuiamo così, conquisteremo l'intera città.
His laugh.
Yeah. It's a pretty good one. The last car is scripted to take itself out. There's a tricky jump here to get one of the lumens on the docks.
Jenny dice che ci sono delle persone
See if I can
rinchiuse
get
nei
it.
container giù al molo. Ci resta che ispezionarli tutti e sperare in un colpo di fortuna.
Yeah, I got it.
Non voglio nessuno nei miei bersagli.
Yeah, you have to do a photon jump off the handrail by the docks to be able to get that lumen and still get to this box without losing any time. It's perfectly doable, but it's very tricky. So we're looking for our brother Brent in these industrial boxes. Spoiler alert, he's not in any of them. And I don't know, Talix or Pepsi, do you want to tell them what happened in the practice run earlier today for this mission?
Yep. She got to go to where the next mission is and missed the box.
Yeah,
Had to come all the way back to the docks to get that box open.
it was a pretty nice meme. So Brent is phoning us saying he's at the monorail station and we're running that way to go rescue him. Spoiler alert, we're not going to rescue him.
No, 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 non adesso!
If you've played Infamous Second Son, you know, Brent's very existence is a bit of a spoiler alert for this game. Handy little arrow pointing the way,
No!
and here we are.
Brent!
So this cutscene is also unskippable. After this will come a comic book style cutscene. At one point we thought it was, oh by the way, Shane's a bad guy, big shocker. At one point we thought it was the comic book style cutscenes that are skippable by quitting out and reloading. Weirdly enough, it's actually when you have a cutscene that's followed by another cutscene, but not a cutscene followed by two cutscenes. When you have a cutscene followed by one cutscene, properly starting that first cutscene gives you an autosave at the beginning of the second one, which means you can quit out and reload and be at the beginning of the second cutscene, if that makes any sense at all. Yeah, we couldn't load one more time. Again, this is faster even on ordinary PS4, ordinary hard drive. Cutscene is like 45, 50 seconds long, and the load is like 20 seconds. And on a ordinary PS4, the load is like 40 seconds, so it's definitely a much smaller time save on an ordinary PS4, but it's still a perfectly free one.
Sì, ma il tuo organismo è forte e ha sviluppato.
I tried to do my hair purple like Fetch. It didn't really turn out that well.
Vuoi vederlo?
We'll leave the job to a professional next time I want to do something like that.
Avanti. Fatti sotto con qualche scagnozzo.
So this shows off our new power, which is Stasis Blast.
Non dai il massimo, Miss Walker.
Forse, mandane altri, vedrai il mio vero potenziale.
Now we have to Stasis Blast and hit their weak point. This can be extremely trolly, as the weak points are typically on the far end of their body. And if you miss any, you have to do them over, but I didn't miss any, so that's good.
Notevole. Perché non me l'hai
And for whatever reason, during this little bit of Augustine talking to you,
Spingessi a farlo.
you
Mandane
can't
qualcuno
use
dei
Lightspeed
vivi e
Dash.
vedrai i fuochi d'artificio.
Attenta a
I
cosa
think you can use both. Yeah, you can.
Segui le linee gialle e resta al centro del corridoio.
Okay, welcome to Beta Arena. Beta Arena is where your PB paste runs come to
Non puoi
die.
andartene, le uscite sono chiuse.
Put it quite simply.
Ti sto permettendo di attaccare.
It's a pretty long arena.
Ma una sola condizione.
Yeah, it's pretty long and it's extremely RNG heavy.
I tuoi poteri.
D'accordo. Per anni non ho fatto che fuggire da loro. Combatterli è più divertente.
Head to the middle. There's 3 introductory waves to take out. They're pretty small. And unlike other waves in the other arenas, these ones will simply spawn in on a timer. You don't have to clear the previous waves to get the next ones to spawn in. I used to cast a singularity there to take out all 3 waves at once, but that's slow. And now we have Turret Whisperer. Hello, Fetch. Fetch's dominion over neon gas lets her override gun turrets. Because video games. I don't know.
Because turrets run on neon.
Yeah, of course. Turn back to the center to try to avoid bad turret spawns. And wow, what just happened? I'm not quite sure what just happened there, but anyway, that's second turret. You're only supposed to have to override 3 here to satisfy Turret Whisperer. I have, on occasion, and in my practice run earlier today, wound up having to do 4. So that's no bad turret spawns, which is nice. And that's Turret Whisperer. The bad turret spawn would be if it spawned up there. That's where we don't want it to spawn. A, because it is very far out of the way, and B, because the input to drain Neon is the same as the input to override a turret, so you can accidentally drain when you're trying to override, and that just doesn't cost a lot of time, but it costs, you know, a little time.
Molti agenti del DUP erano come te, conduit smarriti a cui serviva il mio aiuto per controllare i propri poteri.
So again, the waves will, roughly speaking, spawn where you have the camera pointed. So there was a problematic spot a moment ago that I didn't want them to spawn on. That's fine.
And like last arena, you have 10 waves to get through this whole arena.
Yeah. Yeah, sadly, the introductory 3 waves don't count towards your Hang 10 challenge. Smoke bombs render Fetch a blubbering mess, which is pretty annoying. That's not bad. So wave 5 here, I will cast the Singularity here. You need a Singularity for the strat in the mission in Seattle Free Roam that follows this one, but you get enough kills in wave 6 through 10 that you don't have to hoard the Singularity that you have there. That's a good spawn for the wave 5 turret. I don't want that ammo crate next to the turret. Go away. Yeah, the turret can potentially spawn down here, which is really bad if that happens, because the turret can take out as many as 4 waves on its own if you get favorable spawns, and you really need it to take out at least 2 to get a halfway decent time here. So that's 2, that's good enough, and I actually will blow it up now to get rid of the 2. Oh, it didn't get rid of the 2 dudes that were standing next to it. So this guy's called a Bishop. All the DUP enemies are named after chess pieces. The one that conjures the concrete around your ankles is the Bishop. See, that would have been triple takedown there if I hadn't gotten it earlier in the run. And yeah, they're all named after chess pieces. In a moment here, we will meet a Super Pawn, which is the, I guess you could call it the boss of this arena challenge. And of course, the queen of the chessboard is Augustine herself, the voice we're hearing overhead. There's the big guy. That's not a great place for him to be. Oh, really don't want to die here, because if you die here, it sets you back to wave 6, which is an extremely large time loss, so we will be nice and safe and heal up. And get caught on something. I really should be clearing this before another turret spawns in, but what the heck, if it can help, it can help. Okay, I wiped out the big guy without him going into his little concrete cocoon. That's kind of nice. Sometimes you effectively have to kill the big guy twice, as he'll retreat into his little concrete cocoon, and if you don't approach him fast enough to one-shot him, you have to basically kill him again. Little force menuing here.
Oh, look, things.
Yeah, and this one here, the triangle input to bring up the PSN leaderboards for the Beta Arena. If you mash that one, if you do it too fast, you can potentially soft lock the game. So So we're about 2 minutes off the pace of my PB, but my PB is well under the estimate, so we're probably in pretty good shape here.
La speranza di costringerlo a scendere a patti. La sua promessa era che se l'avessi aiutato, se avessi obbedito ai suoi ordini, avrebbe liberato Brent. Stava mentendo. E il DUP non mi dava tregua.
So there's more lumens we can grab here, but I actually don't need any because I have enough for the final upgrade, which is the aforementioned double air dash. A couple of quick donations.
Sure. Got $123.45 from, I apologize if I say this wrong, Alizaris. Says, Emerald Alley, you rock. I'm so proud of you. G-Cloning 0529 with $50 says, good luck with the run, Emerald Alley. Any friend of Lobo's is a friend of mine. Donation for Breath of the Wild Master
Sarei
Mode.
felice di insegnare ai tuoi uomini qualche trucchetto per sfuggire al DUP.
Last one, the lady, last one here real quick. The Lady May, $35. Wanted to pitch in what I could during Allie's infamous run. So proud and happy for you. You're rocking it.
Thanks so much, May.
Ok, ma non dimenticare i miei ragazzi.
Ricevuto, capo.
Yeah, like I say, tough for me to find the absolute correct pixel for the mission markers. So pretty cool strat here. There's 3 cages with Shane's troops in them to open up, and you have to clear out this base too. So you open 1, you open 2. After you open 2, oh no, here comes a lot more guys. Well, we just so happen to have a singularity. So we turn around, shoot it off. I did once lose a PB run to shooting that singularity off into the cage behind me. It doesn't kill anyone when you do that. And while the singularity is in the air, you open 3. Somebody survived. It's rare that somebody would survive. It's not unheard of. Minor nuisance.
Okay.
Yeah, Tex Anno, that's a joke that doesn't really translate into Italian. The line there is in English is, hey, Tex ass. Because Shane is from Texas. So our next mission is clear across town at the Science Center. Ah, what happened there? Alright. I really don't need to be in any, extra special hurry to get over to the marker by the Science Center. You have plenty of time to get there before the mission marker spawns in.
Ho saputo che tuo fratello è in mano a Shane. Mi dispiace, ma lo conosco. Finché sa di poterti usare, non lo lascerà mai entrare.
Parli per esperienza personale.
Io voglio aiutarti, ma deve restare tra noi, ok? Vai nel cuore dello Science Center. Ti spiego
Cuore
tutto una
dello
volta.
Science Center. More great Italian. And one thing, if you have the game, go down to these dino statues down here. Check out the plaque in front of them. It's a funny little Easter egg that the devs put in.
E questo cos'è?
Sono le immagini
And it's also there in infamous Second Son.
Shane vuole accedere all'intero sistema.
In Second Son, this area is originally one of the DUP strongholds, so you would have to clear it out first to get such a close look at something. But it's a pretty cute Easter egg. So we're heading to the next drone. They have these 2 DUP guys here. It's actually very important to take them out. This is where the next drone spawns in.
Stava un occhio, spero.
In effetti sì, sono gioiellini da 90
Yeah, at the Harvey Relief run, I ran completely past this point and wound up on a rooftop like 4 or 5 blocks away. It was nothing short of a miracle that I still managed to hit the drone right as it spawned in, because I have no experience chasing it down. And if I hadn't have found it right away, it would have cost me minutes and minutes. So here we are headed to what Jenny is telling us is the last neon drone, but hey, that's not a drone. A little bit of RNG here is how many DUP enemies you end up fighting on this rooftop. It can be either 2, 3, or 4, and we're getting the most common RNG, which is 3.
Mi dispiace, da qui non si vede. Sembrava...
Alright, where's the 3rd guy? Where'd he go? Hide and go decoy, don't you? So that was pretty average.
Stai bene? Mi dispiace.
Obviously, my gold split when I run against splits for that would be a fight with 2 enemies. But it can, even more rarely than 2, be 4. And 4 is a pain in the neck.
Ti mando le altre posizioni dei droni e potrai avere un indizio sul luogo in cui Shane tiene sul fratello.
Potrei è più che abbastanza.
Shane soffre sempre i prigionieri, ma sono penetrata nel suo sistema.
Ok, sei ufficialmente perdonata per la storia dell'elicottero. Dimmi dove andare e vado.
Alright, so our next mission will have Jenny tracking down some shipping containers that she thinks Brent might be in. Spoiler alert, he's not in any of them.
Incluso mio
Would have
fratello.
never guessed that.
Ma non so in quale si trovi. Ne hanno allestiti 4,
Philip
tutti ben
first.
sorvegliati. Quando comincerai a forzarli avrai solo qualche minuto prima che Shane lo scopra.
Quindi dovrò fare in fretta. Grazie.
Il primo container è vicino.
Primo container. It's another great bit of Italian.
E allora
So the idea behind this mission is you have to get to the next location before Shane's guards warn him. And you get a time bonus to your limit when you head through a neon cloud, but you don't actually need to head through the cloud to get the time bonus. You just need the effect of heading through a cloud. See, I go through a cloud bonus, but I jump, bonus, 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 just from air dashing.
Coscienza pulita. Perché?
Seems to me that that's probably not the way this is supposed to work, but it doesn't end up mattering. The time limits are pretty generous.
Jenny, perché tante partite?
I have, on occasion, just screwing around, tried to get this timer on the right side of the screen there as high as I can get it, and I have gotten it as high as 5 minutes.
Ti prego, Brent, fatti trovare nel prossimo container.
And it's very important in this mission that if any enemies surrender, like him, can't let him surrender, you gotta kill him.
Qui non c'è nessuno.
E allora prova con il prossimo, vai!
The way this is routed, with a 3 fight at the end of Surveillance Blackout, you get your next singularity with exactly how many kills you get in this mission. So if you had a 4 fight for Surveillance Blackout, oh, I did kill 1 extra guy in Conduit Consequences, so I might be able to skip 1, but better not chance it. But anyway, normal routing, you would get your next singularity right at the absolute very end of this mission, and you need one for the mission after this one.
Forse stai per avere uno dei tuoi famosi attacchi di passione. Così. Vuoi restare ferma lì a tremare con la foglia?
Ho i poliziotti alle calcagna, devo andare.
Yeah, the run to this box is the one that's the longest distance against the shortest time, but even this one isn't that scary. I've failed it 1 time in the, many hundreds of times I've done this run.
Oh, ma che succede, Jenny? Qui non c'è nessuno.
Non lo so, ma ne manca solo uno. Deve essere. Sono entrata nel computer di Shane per scoprire dove si trovi tuo fratello, giusto? Mi sto esponendo a un
So this, by the way, is the main movement tech for the game is jump dashing. You go through a cloud, you jump, and you dash. Nothing Fetch can do on her own is faster. It is faster to ride the monorail if you can. Oh, see, I did have 1 to spare, but hey, there's my 1 to spare. The one is surrendering.
È vuoto. Era una
So that was the last container. Surprise, surprise, Brent isn't in it. Now we're trying to get Jenny's attention again, but that's not Jenny we're hearing on the other end of the line.
Droni scomparsi. L'unica che conosceva il mio piano era Jenny. Dovevo scoprire se era ancora dalla mia parte o no.
No, davvero, ho fatto tutto da sola.
There's Jenny.
Lei ha la mente. Tu sei
Press F to pay
soltanto una
respects for
pistola
Jenny.
rosa.
Passamela.
Troppo tardi
Yeah.
che se n'è già andata.
And it's apparent in English, or if you do speak Italian, she just said, put her on the phone while we're looking at her dead body. So that's a little, gosh, little
Ha già
cringe.
visto che cosa mi ha costretto a fare Jenny. Lei conosceva il prezzo da pagare per il suo tradimento. Ma tu?
Mio fratello. Ucciderai mio fratello.
Molto brava. A non lasciare che Jenny sia morta invano. Fai quello che ti dico quando te lo dico e risparmierò tuo fratello.
So coming up, this is the one load warp that is faster only on SSD. It saves about 2 seconds over just running from here to the next marker. Of course, you have to wait for it to spawn in, too.
Anzi, sai una cosa? Troviamoci sul Pioneer Building. Ci sono poliziotti da sistemare.
Okay, so... And I did not do that menuing very optimally, but I was just standing still the whole time, so whatever, it's just as well. We load warp about yay far and run the rest of the way. On a normal PS4 normal hard drive, you would want to just run for this marker from the end of the previous mission, because the load takes too long for it to be worth it. But on SSD, it's faster to load warp. Alright.
Ok, Shane, sono qui.
Scusami, cara, ma ho avuto parecchio da fare. Prendi il telefono e vedrai. Il poliziotto che ho pagato mi ha fornito l'accesso alle telecamere. Questo è un
So our mission here is to draw away the cops that are guarding the chief of police so that Shane can accost him and negotiate a deal for his gang. So we need to cause a ruckus in the city.
il suo nutrito entourage.
That's why we have the singularity. What you do is you shoot a car to bring the meter up, thunder drop from the top of the building, go to your right and forward just a little, and then shoot it off. This should clear the full singularity bar.
In quel caso, tu e tuo fratello sarete liberi.
D'accordo.
Qualsiasi cosa tu abbia fatto, continua. Gli agenti sembrano nervosi.
I'll blow up like one more car just to be
Il
safe.
capo della
Yep.
polizia sembra perplesso. Si starà chiedendo che fine ha fatto la scorta. Credo che andrò a presentarmi. Ehi, vieni anche tu.
Yeah, if you ever manage to have the singularity completely fill up the destruction bar, it will actually skip Shane's line of dialogue there. It's irrelevant if it does, because the mission marker spawns in when that line of dialogue starts rather than when it ends. But hey, we're speedrunners, we like to skip things.
Tieni lontani i poliziotti, non voglio essere interrotto.
So now we have a little shooting gallery in this alley while Shane is talking to the chief of police. We have to keep the enemies off of him. Couple quick donations.
All right. I've got $35 here. I'm going to screw this one up here. New Wagenduft says, wish you good luck, Ali, and a nice week for us all. Got $150 from _76. Good luck to all the runners on this awesome event. Put this towards Swordless and Luigi Sprite for the Link to the Past randomizer.
So again, you want to try to use non-focus shots here. But if even one enemy gets past you, it's mission failure. So I am playing it a little safe here with some of these focus shots. That might be too early for the singularity. I may have messed up. Yeah, I think it's supposed to take out more enemies than this. Yes, I did mess up. Alright, so we're just gonna play this super safe. Oh, I say as one almost slips past me. Alright, good enough. That was very sloppy, but we didn't fail the mission. That's the important part.
Concederò al tuo capo lo stesso accordo degli Akulai, ma lascia in pace la mia città. Hai sentito?
So Shane is telling us he's negotiated a deal with the chief of police. We can go pick up our brother who's in a building just a few blocks away. Spoiler alert, he's not in there.
Sentito il pezzo grosso. Tu lasci la città e io sono a cavallo. È un trionfo per
I don't know if I like these spoilers.
Once the door's shut, I like to beat the hell out of these soda machines, because there's just not much else to do here. And the trash bin. The plant is surprisingly impervious to damage.
Tu non sei altro che un piccolo fastidio da eliminare.
Such a rebel.
Che bastardo!
Tu che avresti fatto? Ucciderti con
Shane has pumped poison gas into the tunnel. And the reason I keep moving like this is because when I do runs at home, you know, against splits, when I lose control of the characters when I split. So I'm just in the habit of running around like this. There's no true
Quando sentivo
purpose for
crescere
it.
il panico, mi concentravo su Brent. Era l'unico pensiero che potesse calmarmi. Mi aggrappavo ai bei ricordi.
Alright, so here comes our third cutscene skip.
Brent,
Basically, if you hear Fetch say a word, you've waited long enough. Oh, I didn't mention that. It's possible to do those skips too fast. And you not only don't skip the cutscene, you have to run back to the marker that spawns it and sit through anything that precedes it, like the sequence with the poison gas coming into the tunnel there. So certainly for a marathon, you want to make extra sure that you wait long enough.
Shane aveva
And if you
Brent.
hear Fetch say a word,
L'unico modo
you've
per
waited long
salvarlo era
enough.
trovare un accordo.
I actually have a pretty good visual cue for the first
Mi
one.
spiegheresti come
I
hai
haven't
fatto a
really
uscire da
developed
quella
one for
galleria?
the others.
Hai ottenuto un altro potere da quella allucinazione?
Ok, sì, te l'ho tenuto nascosto. Di nuovo. Ok, te lo mostro. Mandami qualche amichetto.
So here's our last new power, the missiles.
Notevole. Ma perché me lo stai mostrando proprio ora?
Perché questo
Sometimes when we're listening to Augustine, I just want to wreck the place up.
Dammi un avversario più forte.
Come vuoi, Miss Walker. Segui le linee gialle e resta al centro del corridoio.
That's it. So this is Gamma Arena. This is by far the easiest of the 3 arenas.
Sembri
And
tormentata da
in
diversi
my
demoni.
PB run that I had a little over a week ago, this is the only one of the 3 arenas that I did badly at. So, yeah. What you want to do is come to the middle and basically just have things come to you. That's certainly faster than chasing them around the arena. We have these skeleton demons. They are impervious to normal bolts, but basically anything else you can do can kill them. And in the English dialogue, I do love Augustine's line that introduces Gamma Arena. She says that the conduit who creates the combat holograms is obsessed with a video game about demons. It's Eugene, if you know him from Infamous Second Son. And I always love that line because I have some friends who speedrun the game Demon Souls, and it always makes me think of them. Shoutouts to Squarewave and Luna Argentius if they're watching, and even if they're not. So yeah, Stasis Blast plus Bolt will kill the skeleton demons quite nicely. This is kind of bad.
Queste creature non sono mie, ma il piacere che trai dalla loro morte lo hai.
Spawner, please.
Focalizza il tuo per diventare più forte.
Yeah. This is what the spawner spawns, annoying little spiders.
Bene, la collera è uno strumento con cui controllare la realtà circostante.
But yeah, Stasis Blast plus Bolt will kill the skeleton demons. So will missiles, so will melee finishers if we had them. We don't get that upgrade in the speedrun routes. Basically anything but normal Bolt. Yeah, see, that was a pretty poor Gamma, and you could still see that it didn't take that long.
Vedo che ti stai divertendo. Asseconda questa sensazione e libera il tuo potenziale.
No force menuing here, just one input to
Hai
advance
visto? Sei
forward.
brava quando vuoi. C'è un futuro per i conduit capaci di lasciarsi il passato alle
Next up
spalle.
is Drug Trucks,
Ora dimmi come va
mission
a
where
finire
we
la tua
chase
storia.
down some of the moving trucks that Shane has loaded with his drug merchandise and
Shane mi
take them
voleva
out of
morta.
commission.
Mi restava un'unica opzione, passare al
This mission's
contrattacco.
pretty RNG heavy too, but we have a
Purtroppo
cool
non
way of
sapevo
dealing
che
with
fosse
it.
lui, o tantomeno mio
Except for the
fratello.
world record holder, Tsukuyomi, he just runs straight out the trucks because he's a freaking magician.
Me lo auguro. Spariamole qualche altro colpo. Così, per stare tranquilli.
Dov'è Brent?
These guys die in one hit. Why can't they all?
Dovranno pur parlarsi in qualche modo. No, un auricolare. E della mia misura.
So there's 6 trucks. First one's always in the same place. Last one's always in the same place. We have to ping this video dish to make the trucks appear. We have to ping it before we can take out this first truck, even though it's just right there. Also fetches neon power, giving her control over video dishes, video game logic. Land here, cast a singularity to take everybody out. It's possible to not take out the sniper behind me. Sometimes when I have that, yeah, see, there's the sniper sight. He doesn't count though. You don't have to take him out to satisfy this objective.
Now we graffiti trucks.
Yep. And we load autosaves. What loading the autosave does is reset the positions of the trucks, and it also gives you back your singularity, missiles, and if we had them, melee finishers. By loading the autosave, that truck is always very close by. It's so close that you don't even have to ping the dish. You just do a normal ping. and it's in range. Knock on the door, take him out. One stasis blast is enough to destroy the drugs in the back of the truck. That's a strat that was found by a runner named Lydia long before I ran the game. She actually messaged me earlier today, probably angling for a shout out. Nothing wrong with that. I do the same. So, hi Lydia, thanks for that strat. And I should, do all my other shout outs while I'm at it, I suppose. Sir Sanju, Tomaine, Spider Sponge 87, SS Bane, everybody else in the infamous community, and certainly the Wolfpack community, but we've heard a lot from them from donation comments, which is great. Knock on the door. For these next two, we will use the missiles.
Non hai più nulla e dico nulla che ti protegga da me. Non puoi torcergli neanche un capello.
Continua a distruggere le sinergie.
And apparently tagging the truck with neon graffiti makes it useless. I don't know.
Sarà fatto.
And there's the next truck. I don't know, maybe I look like a freaking magician running straight at the trucks this way, but this is only after I reset them with that quit and load. Or not a quit and load.